Alrighty folks, this is Lurch from Ireland Gaming and welcome back to another episode of From the Depths, and I'm super excited! You might notice something a little bit different here. We are in the Devtest branch for the advanced custom cannons. First of all, I'd like to apologise, I'm a little bit hoarse, I'm a little bit sick. It seems that half the internet is sick at the minute, so I'm sorry, you're going to have to deal with it, because custom cannons wait for no man. Onwards with the fun stuff! So, first of all, in this patch, we've got the new wood blocks that Nick highlighted a couple of weeks ago. They're nice. I'm still getting used to them. Old designs look a bit funny because they're not built with this in mind, but I think they take paint better than the other ones did. They're a sort of a flatter, more pale colour, and yeah, they're pretty cool. But what I'm really here to do is give you a little bit of a look-see at some of the basic cannon components. So, in this video, I'm going to look just at the ammo and shell customization thing, and I'm going to be quite vague with it because, like I said, this is a dev test branch, so everything is still highly subject to change. So, like I say, I'll be a little bit vague with the stats because stats and stuff like that are going to change a lot, but I figure that most of the basic components and stuff are going to be staying sort of as they are. So let's get straight into it and we'll get into build mode. You see I'm in color replace mode here. And this beautiful and scary picture awaits us. There are many, many new things. But in this episode, all I'm going to be covering is the things in this submenu. So, to make your very first shell, custom shell, we need this, which is the ammo controller. This is like the brains of your ammo system. Kind of works. Oh, whoops, I should really change the color to default first. And let's keep it on default. Sorry about that. Now, the ammo controller, as we see in the tooltip, is used in conjunction with ammo customizers to create your ammo. Like I said, this is just the brains of the system. It's just required per shell type that you would like to make. So, if you would like to have two different types of shells, you're going to need two ammo controllers. And you can't just bolt them onto these other parts, you have to actually make a separate one because it works like a controller or like a firing pin where the other, it has an ID and the other blocks have to connect to that. So, next on the list is the ammo customizer. This gives you segments, a bit like a missile launcher does, and allows you to place extra like customization into your shells. So we're going to drop 4 of them for now and we'll have a wee look at that in a minute after I run through the parts. Next on the list is the ammo router. Now this isn't currently implemented yet, and there's been a lot of speculation on the forums as to what it actually does. But the take that I'm getting on this from the tooltip in the top right here is a vent for routing ammo cables from constructibles to sub-constructibles. So I'm figuring that this is like a way to have your shell production on a main ship and then feed the shells off to a sub-vehicle. It's not for routing ammo around an individual vessel, but that's just the take I'm getting on it. And like I say, it's not yet implemented. It could very well change. Next on the list, we're into shell parts. Now, shell parts are like your ammo barrels for the shell system, and you need enough of them. We'll see when we get into this next menu you'll need enough of them to produce the shells that you need, and these ammo parts take ammo from ammo barrels, so you have to have ammo barrels as well. Funky little box of shells there. Now, next on the list is the ammo output feeder, which is here. Now, these you will need probably quite a lot of depending on your cannon designs, and we'll cover them a little bit more in the future, but for now, all you need to know is you need each one of these for every corresponding ammo input feeder. And the ammo input feeder is how you get your shells from here, from the output feeder, into your gun. I have no gun set up yet. I'm still learning the cannon system. I've had a good look at it, and I will be playing with it a lot more over the next few days, and hopefully bringing you some more tutorials on how everything works. But for now, I'll just bolt a load of these on, and now that's a complicated menu. I'll just exit that for now. But yeah, these need to be connected one for one to the input feeder. And more of these means you can feed more shells from this this shell construction unit into your guns. So you can use this one shell construction, I don't really know what to call this, ammo customization, shell creation thingy. You can use one of these and feed to multiple guns, because these output feeders can feed to anything on the vessel. So, all that being said, I'm going to cut here and have a wee look-see at the bring you back whenever I've had a quick look-see at the shell customization and how it all works. So, I will be right back. Okay, we're back in this scary, scary menu. And the first thing I want to talk about is this menu on the left-hand side. Now, this is the list of the customized parts and how your shell is put together and what it's made up of. And it's kind of like, again, the missile system where you can select things from a list here. Now, the way that this is ordered is the top is the back of your shell and the bottom is the nose of your shell. So there are specific parts that you can see in the top list here, and you can sort these based on the position, and they'll be grayed out. Say I want to put something from the nose in the middle of the warhead, it won't let me. But yeah, there are specific parts for each section of the shell, and the back is dictated, seems to be by the length of the shell. There are places you can have multiple back ones, but I'm not 100% sure how that works, to be honest. But overall, this is just where you customize your shell and how it all works, and this won't let you place things in an unusual way anyway, so, well, except for the fact you can't put a gunpowder casing on the front of your warhead, even though it starts to fault. But this is Devtest. There are things changing all the time. But anyway, we will take a quick rundown of the different ammo types that are available, and just a basic idea of what they all do. I'm sure their functions will remain quite similar, but these statistics, I am sure, will change drastically over the course of development. So first of all, we have the gunpowder casing. This is your propellant, and more gunpowder means that your shell has a bigger muzzle velocity and will travel faster. That seems to be basically it. These are being tweaked a lot, but yeah, basically that is your propellant. Next, we have the warhead bodies. We have a HE warhead, which is explosive damage, solid warhead, which adds kinetic damage and adds weight to your warhead, and we have frag warheads, which are like frag missiles. They fragment on impact and create fragments. Next, we have a stabilizer fin. This decreases the inaccuracy of your shot, but it also has a slight trade-off in the speed modifier and affects your armor-piercing modifier if you have it at the nose. Next, we have a sabot, which is it increases the AP of the shell, but reduces the overall mass. And you can see also at the minute it has a speed modifier as well. But all these, like I say, are subject to change. Next, we have the various fuses that allow you to set up when the warhead will explode. So this allows you, with an altitude fuse, to make traditional flak cannons that go off at a certain altitude. And if you have like high explosive or fragmentation rounds, you can shoot them and tell them to explode at, say, an altitude of 50 and create a lovely big wall of flak in the air to take on aircraft. We also have a proximity fuse, which is fairly self-explanatory. You can set a range from that the warhead will detonate. The penetration depth fuse, not sure how this works, but I'm figuring from the advanced cannon system that shells have a chance to pass through to the next block. So if you have, for example, 2 blocks in a line and there's enough damage to take out the first one, the shell will continue on. And if you have a penetration depth fuse, it will wait for, say, 2 blocks penetration before it will actually explode the charge, say a high explosive warhead. But I'm still very vague on that one. I haven't tested it much. Timed fuse is, again, fairly self-explanatory. Will allow you to detonate your warhead whenever, after a fixed given amount of time. Next, we have the warheads, and these can only go at the very front of the missile. You see shell nose only. So first of all, we have an AP capped warhead, and this increases your armor penetration and has a low chance of shell fragmentation post-armor. So it has a chance after hitting its target to explode and cause additional fragments, and I believe this does extra damage. Next, we have a Squash Head. Description says, significantly lowers AP but concentrates all explosive placed directly behind it into a shockwave that can create interior spalling and destroy large chunks of vehicle walls. So I believe this is like an augmenter for high explosive bodies. So if you have a bunch of HE rounds in here, I believe this will manipulate them in some way to increase your damage, maybe put it into a cone. But again, I haven't played with these enough to know exactly how they work. Composite Heads are high velocity AP for thin, medium armor that is likely to fragment if armor is too great. So this one is a bit like the AP capped head. It's got a higher armor penetration, different speed modifiers and stuff, and again has a chance to fragment whenever it hits a target if the armor is too great. Now, next on the list is the Shaped Charge Head, and it has no AP, but I believe this is basically like a high explosive warhead, just for the cap of the missile instead of the HE body. And it's got its own relevant stats, very low armor pierce. Finally, in this big long list, is the Sabbath Head. Now, the Sabbath Head has the highest AP, but actually actively reduces explosive effectiveness. So there is, first of all, a sets the explosive damage to 25%. So if you have a shell that does 1,000 explosive damage, and you put a Sabbath Head on it, that will only do 250. So that's an interesting mechanic, but it has really high AP. And you see from the modifier here, it's 4 armor piercing. But it also will not fragment. So it's another trade-off as to whether you want the thing to fragment and do additional damage, or you just want all that AP in one big lump. But that's basically it for this episode. I don't want to go into too much detail because, like I said at the start of the video, a lot of this stuff is subject to change, and Nick has released three patches last night, and I believe he is working on one for today as well, and I'm sure there will be rapid development in this. So by the time I even start to record the next video, we could be 2 or 3 patches on, and I'll probably have to update nearly everything here. That's why I'm being deliberately vague. I leave it up to you guys to work out how all this fits together and how you would like to customize your shells, because everyone in the community is still sort of trying to work their way through this and find out the most efficient methods and try to break it and OP it as much as possible. So for now, I'm going to sign off and leave you with that, and I really hope that helped. I've spent a couple of hours messing around with this system, reading up a lot on the forums, and a lot of the information I got and the help is from other people on the forums that have been doing the research. I really recommend looking at the Advanced Cannon forums if you want to learn anything. There's some great example blueprints. One very important thing I forgot to cover is this shell diameter slider at the bottom. Thanks to Xionyx on the forum for mentioning this in the Canon tutorial, or the Canon thread, because I was at a complete loss to how this worked. But this is not a configuration bar. This is a tool for telling you how your warhead is going to work. Now, there is a whole wealth of information down here, and I'm going to leave it until I actually build a cannon for you to describe everything here. But just a thing to bear in mind, this is not for configuring your shells, because that had me completely stumped for ages. But it means that you can put in the gauge of your cannon, and it'll tell you how to basically build the rest of your cannon. So you see, if you have 4 gauge increases, you have optimal barrel length, the length of the shell rack needed. This is a really important one. But like I said, I'll leave most of that description to the next video. So really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you liked it and you want to see more in the future, show your support and click that like button. This helps other people find the channel and join our friendly little corner of the interwebs. If you have any suggestions to improve the channel, or even just want to say hi, I love hearing from you guys. I read every single comment, and I really hope this tutorial was of some benefit to you guys, or even for, if you're not looking for a tutorial, you just want a quick look at the cannon mechanics. I'm going to be doing a couple more videos like this in the near future. So, as always, take take it handy and have a bloody good day.